Being a general manager is a tough job. There are thousands of people you have to evaluate to put together the best 53-man roster you can to compete for the Super Bowl, and everybody in the stands think that they can do a better job than you. When you make the right moves, your team is set for years to come, and when you do your job to the best of your ability, you end up on this list of best trades in NFL history. Buckle up, guys, because you are in for a ride. Number 10. Drew Bledsoe traded to Buffalo. This trade started the Patriots dynasty, as some fans forget that at the time New England was already deploying Drew Bledsoe, who had started for them each year dating back to the 1993 season. However, a hit that Bledsoe took by New York Jets linebacker Mo Lewis in 2001 changed the complexion of the Patriots organizations forever. Tom Brady took over for the injured veteran the rest of the way and led them to a Super Bowl title, the very first of their 20-year dynasty. After Tom Brady rose to prominence during the 2001 season, the Patriots had a decision to make: go with the young Brady or one of the better quarterbacks in the league at the time in Bledsoe. The Patriots decided to trade Bledsoe, sending him to Buffalo for a first-round pick. Brady went on to become a star in New England, as has Ty Warren, the player the Patriots used Buffalo's pick on. Bledsoe's career declined, and Buffalo didn't make the playoffs with him at the helm. As for Tom Brady, he is a 7-time Super Bowl champion, 5 times Super Bowl MVP, 3 times NFL Most Valuable Player, 2 times NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 3 times First Team All-Pro, 3 times Second Team All-Pro, 15 times Pro Bowl, 5-time NFL Passing Touchdown Leader, 4-time NFL Passing Yards Leader, 2 times NFL Passer Rating Leader, and the list goes on. We all know who won the trade, and he is still playing. Crazy, right? Number 9. San Diego and the New York Giants swapped draft picks. The 2004 NFL Draft was a media event like never before. Television ratings were 25% higher than before. One of the most controversial drafts in recent memory. By now, we probably remember the story. It's 2004 and the Chargers are picking first overall again. They want Eli Manning, but Manning doesn't want to be a Charger. He wants to be a New York Giant. But the Chargers pick him anyway, perhaps creating one of the most awkward draft photo ops in recent memory. Then, not too long after the pick, they work out a trade with the Giants. The Giants would take Philip Rivers with the number 4 pick, then send Rivers to San Diego along with that year's 3rd round pick and a 1st and 5th round pick in 2005 for Manning. The deal was made. Eli was a 2 times Super Bowl champion, 2 times Super Bowl MVP, Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, 4 times Pro Bowl. It worked out for both teams, but it's safe to say that the Giants made the right move. Number 8. Randy Moss to the Patriots. Randy Moss amazed everyone in the NFL in his first few years with the Vikings. But off-field issues nearly sidelined his career. He got traded to the Raiders and was unable to mimic his success. New England saw an opportunity as they were 3 years removed from their last trio of Super Bowls. New England Patriots and Bill Belichick swung a deal to bring Moss to Foxborough for a 4th round pick. And we all know what became of it. Was one of the greatest single season by a receiver in NFL history. Moss scored 23 touchdowns, destroying the previous record, and that record still stands today. Moss's ability to demand so much attention helped the Patriots break the scoring and passing touchdown records. They also became the first 16-0 team in the history of NFL. Talk about a lopsided trade. Number 7. Steve Young to the San Francisco 49ers. Many people don't even realize that Young was drafted first overall by Tampa Bay in the 1984 supplemental draft. The Buccaneers were a relatively new franchise, but his time with the Bucs didn't go well, and Tampa Bay was ready to move on. Hanley felt the team needed to draft Miami quarterback Vinny Testaverde with the #1 overall selection in the 1987 NFL Draft to turn the ship around. He also felt he needed to trade the athletic and sometimes erratic Young. In 1987, they drafted Vinny Testaverde with the #1 overall pick. The 49ers traded a 2nd and 4th round pick in 1987 for Young. They saw something in Nick that no one saw. Also, Joe Montana was going into his 9th season and was 31 years old. With the 2nd and 4th round pick, the Bucs drafted Winston Moss and Bruce Hill, who never made any Pro Bowl. They also didn't have a winning season until 1997. The same cannot be said for the Niners. Young was 91-33 as a starter, won a Super Bowl, 2 MVP awards, and was on the All-Pro team 3 times, as well as 7 Pro Bowl nods. Oh, and he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2005. This allowed one franchise to maintain their run of dominance and another their run of mediocrity. Number 6. Eric Dickerson to Indianapolis. This trade, man, it's still one of the biggest and most confusing trades in NFL history, involving 3 teams and a number of draft picks going back and forth between the Colts, Rams and Bills. I will try to explain it to the best of my ability. Okay, here we go. Dickerson was the best running back in the league, but was unhappy with his contract with the Los Angeles Rams and asked to be traded. He got what he wanted. It just took 3 teams to make it happen during the strike-shortened 1987 season. The Colts acquired Hall of Fame running back Eric Dickerson. The Rams received the Colts' 1st and 2nd round picks in 1988, the 2nd round pick in 1989, and running back Owen Good. Los Angeles then received the 1st round pick in 1988, 1st and 2nd round picks in 1989, and running back Greg Bell. Buffalo then acquired the rights to linebacker Cornelius Bennett. Got it? While Dickerson led the league in rushing, Bennett would go to help the Bills reach for consecutive Super Bowl. Rams got the better end of the stick in this deal. Number 5. Marshall Faulk to St. Louis. Faulk was developing into a star for the Colts by the time 1999 came around. Faulk is coming off his best season. He rushed for 1,319 yards, caught 86 passes, and scored 10 touchdowns. But the Colts still shipped off Faulk to St. Louis because Faulk wanted to restructure his contract, according to the New York Times. With a bargain price of a 2nd and 5th round pick to the Indianapolis, the Rams got Faulk, and the Colts used their 1st round pick in 1999 on Edgerrin James instead of Ricky Williams. James paired with a young Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. This trade started to make the St. Louis Rams the center of the football universe from 1999 to 2001, thanks to an explosive offense that revolutionized the NFL. This was one of the greatest trades in league history. Faulk was a Hall of Famer chess piece. Faulk went on to win a Super Bowl and run to the Hall of Fame with the greatest show on turf. This trade was a classic case of both sides winning. Number 4. Steve Largent traded to the Seahawks, 1976. This trade is the opposite of the Marshall Faulk trade in that it was completely one-sided. The Houston Oilers drafted Steve Largent in the 1976 NFL Draft. Prior to the season though, they traded him to the Seattle Seahawks for an 80th round pick in the next year's NFL Draft. Largent had an immediate influence with the Seahawks, catching 54 passes in his rookie season. He did not excel physically in any one area. What made him a great receiver was his excellent hands, intelligence and ability to run crisp routes that got him into the open, and the strength to gain extra yards after catching the ball. It was this extra effort that earned him the respect and admiration of opponents and fans alike. All Largent did was go on to become one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. Largent earned 7 Pro Bowl nods. When he retired, he owned the records for most catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns in NFL history. He also became the first player in Seahawks history to reach the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Number 3. Brett Favre to the Packers. Before Brett Favre became America's favorite gunslinger, he was a struggling, often injured rookie in Atlanta Packers. General manager Ron Wolf took huge gamble on Favre. He traded his 1992 first-round pick for a quarterback who is an absolute headache for his coach. His big gamble became a lottery ticket. His Falcon head coach, Jerry Granville, didn't want Favre on the team, so they traded him for the 90th overall pick, which became Tony Smith. Smith never played an offensive snap for the Falcon. On the other hand, Favre went on to win a Super Bowl, be the all-time leader in touchdown by retirement, and was the only player to win the MVP 3 straight times. It's easy to say Falcons lost this deal as they have yet to win a Super Bowl. Number 2. John Elway to the Broncos. This trade is the biggest controversy of the 80s. Elway and his father did not want to be a part of the Colts, as they wanted to play closer to the West Coast. Elway's father, Jack, hours after his son was drafted, said that he will never play for Irsay or Coach Cush. Then, in 1983, the Baltimore Colts were forced to trade quarterback John Elway, who had just been selected number 1 overall 6 days earlier in the NFL draft. The return for the Colts was quarterback Mark Herman, offensive tackle Chris Hinton, and Denver's 1984 first-round pick, which ended up being Ron Salt. It is safe to say in this lopsided deal the Broncos got one of the best players in the NFL history, as Elway would go on to be of the best quarterback of all time, winning 2 Super Bowls, the Super Bowl 33 MVP, 1987 NFL Most Valuable Player, and made 9 Pro Bowls appearances. Elway has been the Denver Broncos general manager since 2011 and won Super Bowl 50. Number 1. The Herschel Walker Trade, 1989. Unquestionably, the biggest and most lopsided trade in NFL history happened in 1989. This trade involved 18 players and draft picks and launched the Dallas Cowboys dynasty. Walker had accounted for more than 2,000 all-purpose yards in 1988, but head coach Jimmy Johnson knew he needed more picks to build a team. Herschel Walker had been setting the league on fire with the Dallas Cowboys, and the Minnesota Vikings believed that was the one piece they were missing to win the Super Bowl. So the Vikings offered the largest haul in history for the tailback. The Cowboys got back 2 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and a third-round pick for Walker. Dallas would use all of that draft capital to help build one of the greatest dynasties in NFL history. The Cowboys would go on to win the Super Bowl 25, Super Bowl 27, and Super Bowl 28. They, along with the Patriots, are the only franchises to ever win 3 Super Bowls in 4-year span. Meanwhile, Walker only spent 2 seasons with the Vikings and did not even rush for 1,000 yards either season. Damn, talk about a loss.